Welcome to Blackbird Writers Presents. I am Tracy S. Phillips, the founder of Blackbird Writers, and welcome to our award-winning podcast. Today, I am talking with Daniella Bernett. She has written The Secrets Lie in Wait, which is book 10 in her series. And this book is about a jewel thief insurance investigator, Gregory Longdon, who has always relied on his wits to extricate himself from tricky situations. But when he's kidnapped and framed for murder by a Russian mafia boss, living on the knife's edge stops being funny. Gregory's pregnant wife, Emmeline Kirby, stirs up trouble as usual, publishing articles about the diamond smuggling operation and the stolen golden tulip, which is a 130-carat yellow diamond and belongs in the Royal Palace or the Rijksmuseum, and that's in Amsterdam, where the book takes place. Emmeline and Gregory soon learn that running into danger means running for their lives. In this quick-witted crime fiction novel, The Secrets Lie in Wait. Welcome, Daniella.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
Yes, I'm so delighted to talk about this book. There's so much fun in here. The humor and the spy versus spy thing. It feels like it was inspired a lot by James Bond in a way.
And I'm glad. I'm happy to hear that. I mean, that's the reaction I want to get from readers. So I'm happy to hear that that was your impression.
Good. So because this is book 10 in the
Yes.
series, please tell us what was your inspiration for these characters and how can you keep this going?
Okay, well, Emmeline is the journalist and Gregory is the jewel thief. And I chose a journalist and a jewel thief because I wanted a portrait in contrasts to give the stories a multi-layered nuance, richness. And then while a detective's job is to hunt down criminals, sometimes the law's constraints chafe and make their task more difficult. But amateur sleuths are not bound by the rules and regulations, nor are they, obstructed by petty interagency infighting. They have free reign to investigate. This also yields myriad opportunities for them to become ensnared in a cauldron of mischief and mayhem, which just heightens the tension. So, as a journalist, Emmeline's job is to ask questions, to uncover the truth and ensure that justice is served. She tends to see things in black and white. Gregory, on the other hand, for him, the law is a diverting guideline to be followed if the mood strikes him. However, murder is a wanton offense and a line that should never be crossed. Thus, they're of one mind when it comes to the taking of a human life. The culprit must pay for the crime, otherwise, chaos would reign in the world. So, for me, Emmeline and Gregory are a joy to write precisely because they have such distinctive characters. Like her impetuous streak and temper drive her to find answers and allow me to blind her to looming perils. Gregory is charming and witty, and his nemesis is Superintendent Oliver Burnell of Scotland Yard. They have an adversarial cat mouse relationship. I have a lot of fun writing their verbal duels. Through their banter, that's how I inject humor into the story to break up the tension. And then Gregory never misses an opportunity to needle the superintendent. Burnell, for his part, has been thwarted in his many attempts to catch Gregory red-handed. But under that, there's an underlying grudging respect. But in Burnell's eyes, a thief is a thief, and he's never going to stop trying to put Gregory behind bars. And Gregory wouldn't have it any other way. So to keep the plots fresh, secrets and the desire to cover up long ago transgressions provide, for me, a bottomless well of trouble. And although readers will always want happily ever after,
Yeah.
I think that's quite boring. I mean, from an author's perspective, it's a dead end because the story's petered out if it's a happily ever after. On the other hand, if revenge and betrayal are motives I can sink my teeth into because they always bring me back to that question, what if? Those are the two most potent words in an author's arsenal, since the possibilities are infinite and my imagination can indulge in its lethal cravings. And then the real game begins.
Beautifully said. Um, yes, so I love these characters.
Okay.
Um, and I love that you've got so many, you're carrying this series on to its fullest extent. And Emmeline is pregnant in this book, which adds a huge layer of tension to me
Right.
because I kept worrying that she was going to get, kidnapped or hurt or something. Um, and no giveaways here. um, but this book really features Amsterdam very well. I felt like I could walk through the streets there, and also this golden tulip diamond. So, what kind of research are you doing as far as the locations of your books? Because your characters have traveled through the series from Madrid to London, where they're usually based, Malta, Switzerland, um, all, all
Venice.
over. Yes. So, tell us a little bit about your research and what keeps you
Well,
going there.
in terms of in all the books, setting is an important aspect. It's like a character all its own. I know many contend that readers don't care about descriptions of the scene. I strongly disagree about that. I think setting helps to establish the mood and propel the story. And that comes from the fact that I'm passionate about traveling. I've visited all the places where my books take place. Scenes spring to mind when I'm in a particular area, and that has made a strong impression on me. That's why I'm able to give readers a taste of the sights and sounds to make them feel like they're walking in the character's footsteps. In this instance, it's beautiful Amsterdam. I mean, I always think of it, a book is an enchanting journey. If a reader can't travel in real life, he or she can plunge into an adventure anywhere in the world for a short while. And I
Okay.
want to share the places that I love with my readers. So that's why, I describe the scenes and everything that happens where my characters are in
Right.
their adventure.
What was your favorite destination?
Oh, everything's my favorite. I mean, my two favorite cities are London and Venice, but Amsterdam is beautiful. Malta was enchanting. Switzerland, of course. Madrid. I have been to France. I'm actually working. The one I'm working on now is takes place a little bit in France. So everywhere I've been, I've loved it.
It's your favorite.
Belgium. Have been to Belgium too. That's beautiful as well, especially Bruges. So everywhere. I find something lovely everywhere. And my philosophy is in danger, there's beauty because the beauty masks something underlying, some danger within. So I can always find somewhere to plunge a dead body or something like that.
Wonderful. So this book, and several of the others obviously feature a stolen jewel. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, about the golden tulip. Okay, well,
Sure.
the golden tulip in this book is a brooch with it was actually it's a nine-sided 130 carat double rose cut yellow diamond. It's set in platinum and it's on a stem of emeralds. And I modeled it on the famous Florentine diamond, which was thought to have been mined in the mid 1400s in India, where yellow diamonds are extremely rare. And the jewel's history captivated me. It was carried into battle in 1467 by the Duke of Burgundy, who considered it a talisman. Unfortunately, it wasn't because he died in battle. Apparently, a peasant or a foot soldier found the diamond on the Duke's body, sold it for 2 francs, convinced it was glass. And in the intervening centuries, the diamond was sold many times for paltry amounts as it wended its way from France to Switzerland to Germany and Rome, where it was briefly owned by Pope Julius II. Then the gem caught the eye of Fernando II de' Medici, the Grand Duke of Tuscany. And eventually it passed from the Medicis to the Habsburg crown jewels in Vienna. And then after the Austrian Empire fell in World War I, the diamond was carried by the imperial family into Switzerland. Later, it was thought to have been stolen or taken to South America with other crown jewels, and it went missing into the early 1920s. So that was that Florentine jewel diamond inspired my golden tulip. I massaged the history a little bit, but that's the golden tulip's background. Now, the golden tulip, now it's the fictional part, has a colorful history too, because it was looted by a notorious Nazi in Amsterdam during World War II. And as Gregory in the story, as Gregory seeks to redress this injustice, he's kidnapped and framed for murder by the Russian mafia boss Bogdan Kozlov. And Kozlov and a Dutch underworld figure, Tygo Jansing, are willing to kill to possess the gem. So Gregory's the only thing standing in their way. Meanwhile, it gets connected with Emmeline's articles because she's made an enemy of Kozlov and with her through her articles on his nefarious doings. And the situation only gets worse when she tries to prove Gregory's innocence.
Ooh, very, very cool. And it must be lots of fun to research those historical gems.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
because as a journalist, as a writer, you have to be curious about many things. So I
right.
love history because my philosophy is if you have to know the past to understand how things evolved to the way they are today. So that's very important, knowing history and also being curious about everything.
Right. And it informs your story.
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, Fascinating stuff. And so where do you get your sense of humor? Because there's a lot of humor in this book, which I thought was fun. A lot of the dialogue between Emmeline and Gregory, plus, like you said, between Gregory and most everyone.
Yeah. Well, that's just the way the British are very witty. I'm an Anglophile. Emmeline and Gregory are British. They live in London, but their adventures take them everywhere. So I've been to the UK, London, and other parts of the UK many times. I watch programs, about England, about the UK. I've read books and movies, so I've captured that British wit, and I introduced that through Gregory. He's the most irreverent.
Yes. Yeah. So how many books do you feel like you're going to continue in this series with 10 already under your belt?
Well, I'm working on book 11 right now. But it's like Emmeline and Gregory would die of boredom without a healthy dose of danger, intrigue, and murder. And for the moment, my imagination is not ready to let go of Emmeline and Gregory. They still have a lot to say, and I'm listening. When they no longer hold the same allure, perhaps I'll start a new series or write a book in a different genre, like historical fiction. I might pen a historical mystery series set in the Victorian era or World
Yeah.
War II. Because both eras represented times of great change and would yield lots of possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about you? What's your favorite part of being a creative?
Oh, I've always, since I was 9 years old, I wanted to write. It was just my fourth grade teacher. Every week we had creative writing hour, and she gave us different assignments, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. I just loved that, and essentially that first stemmed from a love affair with the written word. Because I loved reading. My parents instilled that in my sister and me, a love of reading. And at heart, writers are readers. They have to be readers, and you have to
Yeah,
devour everything to be a writer. So you have to see what other writers do to develop your own style, develop your imagination. So that's very important. Reading is essential.
absolutely. I totally agree. Um, well, where can our listeners find you or your books? And those
Okay,
will,
well,
I'll
first of all,
post. Oh, yeah,
secrets lie
she'll.
secrets lie in wait. This is the book we were just discussing, set in lovely Amsterdam. But to answer your question, readers can, if they want to learn more about me or my books, my website is daniellabernett.com. There's also an email address on the contact page there, so readers can send me a little note. I enjoy hearing from readers, or they can follow me on Facebook, Goodreads, BookBub.
Great. And where can they find your book? Everywhere?
Everywhere. It's available Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Waterstones, wherever books are sold, you can find my books. And
Wonderful.
oh, something else to stress. I'm conscious that a reader might be picking up Secrets Lie in Wait and they haven't read the previous ones, but I'm conscious of that. So each book can stand alone. So
Yeah.
you won't, if you pick up this book, you won't be lost because I put enough backstory in there. But of course, if readers want to see how Emmeline and Gregory and the dynamic of their relationship evolve, then you start with book one, Lead Me into Danger. But if you pick this one up or another one in the middle, you'll be fine because each book can stand alone.
And I can attest to that because I wasn't familiar with your work before we scheduled this interview. And I thought there was nothing about it that I thought, well, I missed that part. Right? So, absolutely, I feel like anybody who picks it up in the middle is also going to want to pick up previous books, just,
Which is what I hope.
for the fun of it, you know?
I hope so.
Yeah. So wonderful. So thank you so much for joining me today, Daniela. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Oh, yes. Thank you for inviting me, and it's been fun chatting.